Listen to me very carefully. If you've been feeling heaviness on your chest, a pressure that comes suddenly, a weight that makes you pause, or a sadness that sits on your heart like a shadow, don't ignore it. Because sometimes that pressure isn't just stress, it's not just tiredness, it's not just the world crushing you. Sometimes it's your soul speaking, your fitra calling, your heart warning you, and it might be one of the biggest signs that Allah is trying to bring you back before something breaks inside you. Stay with me till the end. One of these points might explain exactly what you're feeling. The silent cry of a heart. My beloved brothers and sisters, there comes a moment in life when your chest feels tight. Not like pain, not like sickness, but like a storm quietly forming inside you. A heaviness you cannot explain, a pressure you cannot name, a weight that sits on your heart as if the world is resting on it. You look around, everything seems normal, yet something inside you feels wrong. It's like your soul is knocking on the door of your consciousness, begging you to listen, begging you to stop, begging you to feel. This pressure, this heaviness is not weakness, it is not random, it is not your imagination, it is the voice of your heart. A voice that speaks long before your tongue ever moves. Your heart knows when something is off. Your soul senses danger before your mind recognizes it. Your fitra reacts to darkness even when you cannot see it. And when the soul becomes overloaded with sins you haven't repented for, with emotions you haven't expressed, with disappointments you pretended didn't hurt, with people who keep taking from you, with memories you never healed from, it begins to send signals, not through words, not through tears, but through pressure. A pressure that tells you, you are breaking, you are carrying too much, you are drifting too far. Come back before your heart collapses. Sometimes the chest tightens because you're trying to be strong for everyone except yourself. Sometimes it tightens because you've been silent in places where your soul needed you to speak. Sometimes it tightens because you keep forgiving people who were never sent to stay. Sometimes it tightens because you're living your days on autopilot, ignoring the emptiness inside you. And sometimes it tightens because your heart misses Allah more than you realize. You see, the heart is created to breathe through prayer, through remembrance, through connection with the one who designed it. When the heart is far from Allah, it becomes like a flower kept away from sunlight. It shrinks, it dries, it suffocates. And that suffocation appears as chest pressure. A message from the most merciful that says, your soul is starving. Feed it before it dies. My beloved brothers and sisters, that heaviness is not your enemy. It is your awakening. It is Allah's mercy disguised as discomfort. It is a whisper from heaven saying, Bila abi nabi aslimu sama'a. Return. I am waiting, because the heaviest heart is often the one closest to finding its way back to Allah. When Allah wants to wake you before you break. My beloved brothers and sisters, there are times when the heaviness in your chest is not coming from you, it is coming for you, not to destroy you, not to punish you, but to wake you up. Because when Allah, the most loving, the most aware, sees you walking towards something that will harm your heart, or sees you staying in a place where your soul is dying slowly, He doesn't always take something from your hands first. He starts by placing something on your heart. A pressure, a discomfort, a heaviness that whispers, my servant, you are drifting. Come back before you are lost. Allah does not shout at you. He does not strike you. He does not embarrass you. He simply makes your heart restless, because Allah knows your heart is the one thing you cannot ignore. You can ignore advice, you can ignore guilt, you can ignore people, you can even ignore your responsibilities, but you cannot ignore a heart that is refusing to be silent. And wallahi, this is one of the most beautiful mercies of Allah. He warns you gently. Before He protects you strongly, He places a heaviness now, so you don't feel a disaster later. He tightens your chest, so you don't break your future. He disturbs your peace, so He can protect your destiny. Have you ever wondered why the tightness becomes stronger? Right before a wrong decision? Right before meeting the wrong person? Right before entering a harmful environment? Right before committing a sin you will regret? Because Allah knows what you don't. Allah sees what you can't. Allah protects you from what you don't even realize is dangerous. And sometimes the first layer of that protection is a heaviness you don't understand yet. Think about it. How many times did your heart feel tight in a conversation that looked normal, but the truth behind it was darkness? How many times did your chest feel heavy before walking into a place your soul didn't want to enter? How many times did your chest tighten before a decision that would have taken you away from Allah? This is not coincidence. This is divine intervention, a signal that the Most Merciful sends to pull you away from what was never written for you. And if you listen, that pressure becomes guidance. If you ignore it, the pressure becomes pain. And if you return to Allah because of it, that pressure becomes light. Brothers and sisters, Allah calls His servants in different ways. Some hear the call in blessings, some hear it in hardship, some hear it in loneliness, some hear it in loss, and some hear it in the tightness of their chest, the heaviness of their heart, the pressure on their soul. This is Allah telling you, you are not alone, you are not abandoned. I am reminding you, come back before you get hurt. And wallahi, the moment you respond to this call, the moment you make wudu, or raise your hands to the sky, or whisper, Ya Allah, help me, the heaviness melts, the pressure softens, the heart breathes again, because the one who tightened your chest is the only one who can loosen it. And He tightens only out of love. When hidden sins turn into visible weight, my beloved brothers and sisters, there is a heaviness that appears in the chest, not because of the world outside you, but because of something quietly growing inside you. A heaviness that doesn't come from sadness or fear or loneliness, but from a spiritual darkness that we allowed into our own heart. We don't like to admit it. We don't like to confront it. We don't like to talk about it. But the truth is this: the heart carries the stain of every sin we don't repent from. And when that stain becomes too heavy, chest pressure becomes the language of the soul. A secret conversation between your heart and your Lord that your tongue may never speak. Brothers and sisters, sins are not just actions. Sins are weights. Every scroll we swipe into the wrong place, every message we reply to that we shouldn't, every conversation that starts harmless but ends in regret, every private moment we think nobody will know, your heart knows, Allah knows, and the weight of it sits on your chest like a mountain. This is why sometimes the heaviness comes suddenly. You are laughing, but your heart feels tight. You are joking with your friends, but something inside you feels wrong. You are scrolling through your phone and your soul feels like it's shrinking. You're sitting in a room full of people, but your chest feels like it's collapsing. Why? Because your soul remembers Allah even when you forget. And the soul cannot breathe in places where Allah is disobeyed. You may not realize it, but sins close the windows of your heart one by one until the light inside becomes small and the darkness grows. And when the darkness grows too much, your chest becomes tight because your soul is running out of oxygen. That heaviness is not a punishment, it is a mercy. Allah is telling you, you are drowning in the things you hide. Come back before you lose yourself. My beloved brothers and sisters, many people walk around with heavy hearts, not because life is hard, but because they are carrying sins they never washed away. Some sins make your heart uncomfortable immediately. Others settle quietly, silent, invisible, until one day your chest can't handle the weight anymore. And that day, the heaviness hits you like a wall. You feel it when you wake up. You feel it when you lie down. You feel it when you are alone. You feel it even when you are surrounded by people. You try to distract yourself. Music, scrolling, entertainment, but the weight does not leave, because distractions can silence emotions, but they cannot silence the soul. Only Allah can lighten a heart that has been darkened by sin. And every time you feel that heavy pressure, it is often your soul saying, I miss sujud, I miss Quran, I miss the peace I had before this. You want to know the most beautiful part? The moment you whisper, Astaghfirullah, Ya Allah, forgive me, the angels take the darkness out of your chest and replace it with light. Your heart was never meant to be perfect. It was meant to return. And sometimes Allah places heaviness on your chest because He knows your heart would never return without a little pain. When someone's presence drains the light from your heart, my beloved brothers and sisters, there is a type of chest pressure that doesn't come from sin, and doesn't come from loneliness, and doesn't come from stress or sadness. It comes from a person. Yes, one single person can make your entire soul feel heavy. A smile on your face, but pain in your chest. A laugh in your voice, but pressure inside your heart. A conversation that looks normal, but spiritually suffocates you. And sometimes the heaviness in your chest is Allah showing you who your heart was never meant to carry. Because not every person in your life is a blessing. Some are tests, some are lessons, and some are warnings. There are people who enter your life with beautiful words, beautiful intentions, beautiful promises. But the moment they come close to your heart, your soul feels something isn't right. Have you noticed it? You feel tired after talking to them. Your chest becomes tight when their name appears. Your energy drains when you are around them. Your mood changes when they text you. Your peace disappears even if nothing bad happened. Nothing is wrong on the outside, but everything feels wrong on the inside. This is not random. This is not overthinking. This is not emotional sensitivity. This is Allah protecting your heart, because Allah sees what you don't. He hears conversations you're not aware of. He knows intentions hidden behind smiles. He knows the pain they will cause you before they even cause it. And when your heart begins to feel tight around someone, Allah is telling you, this person is not yours. This person is not safe. This person will drain you. Step back before your heart breaks. My brothers and sisters, some people don't break your life. They break your peace. And your chest reacts before your mind understands. Your soul feels their energy. Your heart senses their intentions. Your fitrah recognizes their harm long before your brain catches up. Allah created the heart with a sensitivity that detects spiritual danger before physical danger. There are people whose presence pushes the angels away. There are people whose words quietly damage your self-worth. There are people whose habits weaken your connection with Allah. There are people whose influence suffocates your soul slowly. And Allah will make your chest feel heavy so you don't stay connected to the people who disconnect you from Him. Sometimes the pressure comes from someone who constantly disrespects you, someone who uses you emotionally, someone who takes but never gives, someone who pretends to care, someone who pulls you towards sin, someone who hides their true intentions, someone who drains you instead of healing you. And because Allah loves you, He will not allow your heart to stay in a place where your soul is dying. So He tightens your chest. He disturbs your peace. He makes you uncomfortable. He makes the conversations feel heavy. He makes your emotions confused. Not to punish you, but to protect you. Think deeply. How many times did Allah show you someone's true nature? Through the heaviness you felt after speaking to them? How many times did He warn you? Through that tightness you ignored? How many times did your heart feel heavy? Right before a betrayal you never saw coming, your chest feels pressure. Because your soul is saying, this person is taking a place in your heart that belongs only to Allah. Let that sink in. Your heart is not a hotel. For people who damage your peace, it is a sacred space meant to be protected and filled with light. And Allah will keep making your chest tight until you stop giving your heart to the people who don't deserve it. The heaviness you feel is Allah pulling you away from the wrong person so He can guide you toward the right one. And wallahi, the moment you walk away from what Allah was protecting you from, your chest will feel light in a way you cannot even describe. Because distance brings clarity, and letting go brings peace, and obedience brings relief. The weight of all, the pain you never spoke out loud. My beloved brothers and sisters, there is a heaviness in the chest that doesn't come from sin, and doesn't come from people, and doesn't come from worry about the future. It comes from something far more painful. The pain you never allowed yourself to express. The words your heart wanted to say but your tongue could not. The tears that formed but never fell. The emotions you swallowed again and again because you didn't want to burden anyone or seem weak or show how deeply you were hurting. That type of heaviness is not temporary. It is the weight of every unspoken sadness you forced yourself to carry alone. Every time you said, "I'm fine," when your heart was breaking, a piece of that pain settled in your chest. Every moment you comforted others while no one comforted you, a part of your silence turned into pressure. Every time you wiped away your own tears because there was no one to say, "I'm here for you," that loneliness pressed itself into your chest like a stone. And slowly, 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 that hidden sorrow grew so heavy that the heart no longer had space to breathe. People often think pain disappears when you ignore it, but pain doesn't vanish, it hides. It hides in the chest, it hides in the way you sigh for no reason, it hides in the way your mood changes suddenly, it hides in the way you feel tired even after you rest, it hides in the way you force a smile when your heart is exhausted. You may move on with your life, but the pain stays like a shadow that never leaves you. We live in a world where everyone shows strength but suffers in silence. We don't talk about our wounds because we're scared of being judged, misunderstood, or dismissed. We don't talk about our disappointments because we think no one will understand. We don't talk about our heartbreak because we believe healing means pretending it never happened. But the heart cannot forget what the mind tries to erase. The heart remembers every heartbreak in slow motion. Some of you are carrying childhood pain that was never healed and it became chest pressure. Some of you are carrying betrayal that you never spoke about and it became chest pressure. Some of you are carrying heartbreak from someone who walked away without explanation and it became chest pressure. Some of you are carrying disappointment from years of trying to be strong for people who never showed up for you and it became chest pressure. Some of you are carrying grief that you hid from everyone and it became chest pressure. Think deeply, my brothers and sisters. How many nights did you lie awake staring at the ceiling, feeling something heavy on your chest but not knowing why? How many times did you want to cry but couldn't? How many days did you pretend to be okay so others wouldn't worry? How many times did you hide your hurt behind laughter? How many times did you swallow your emotions until your soul became full? Your chest is full not because you are weak, but because you have been strong for far too long. And Allah sees it. Allah knows the pain you hide. Allah hears the dua you don't speak. Allah knows the thoughts you push away. Allah knows the heartbreak you pretend you don't feel. Allah knows the moments when you force a smile to avoid explaining what's breaking inside you. He knows the burdens you didn't share because you didn't want to trouble anyone. And He knows that your silence has been screaming for years. Chest pressure from unspoken pain is a mercy in disguise. It is Allah telling you, you have carried enough. You don't need to pretend anymore. Come to me with what you cannot tell anyone else. And this is the beauty of Allah's mercy. You don't need to have the right words. You don't need to explain your pain. You don't need to be strong. You just need to sit on your prayer mat, put your hand on your chest, let your tears fall if they need to, and whisper, Ya Allah, my heart is heavy, only you know why, only you can heal me. And wallahi, the moment you release your pain to Allah, the pressure begins to loosen, the heaviness begins to melt, the soul begins to breathe, because hearts were not created to hold everything alone. They were created to return to Allah when the burden becomes too much. Your unspoken pain is not a sign that you're breaking. It is a sign that your heart is calling you home, back to the one who understands every feeling you never had the courage to express. When Shaytan targets the heavy heart, my beloved brothers and sisters, there is a type of chest pressure that appears not because of sin, and not because of pain, and not because of people, but because Shaitan sees an opening in your heart at the exact moment when you feel weak, tired, overwhelmed, or emotionally exhausted. Shaitan waits for a specific moment, the moment when your heart feels heavy and your soul feels drained, because he knows that a tired heart becomes easier to whisper to. He knows that heaviness makes you vulnerable. And vulnerability is the door he loves the most. You see, Shaitan is patient. He will not attack you when you are strong, when your iman is high, when your heart is full of light, or when your soul feels close to Allah. He waits for nights when you feel alone, when your chest is tight, when your emotions feel unstable, when your heart feels empty, when you feel disconnected from everything around you. That is when he comes. Not with thunder, not with fear, not with horror, but with soft whispers that sound like your own thoughts. When your chest feels heavy, Shaitan whispers, you're alone, and you begin to feel isolated even when surrounded by people who care. When your heart feels tight, he whispers, no one understands you. And suddenly every conversation feels distant, every friend feels far, every comfort feels empty. When your soul feels drained, he whispers, you'll never get better. And slowly you begin to believe that the heaviness will never leave. When your emotions feel tangled, he whispers, what's the point of trying? And effort begins to feel useless. When your self-worth breaks, he whispers, you're not good enough for Allah. And your prayer mat begins to feel far away. These whispers do not come at once, they come quietly, slowly, gently, disguised as thoughts, disguised as feelings, disguised as reality. Shaitan knows he cannot destroy you with force, so he tries to break you from the inside, using your own hurt against you. He feeds your sadness, magnifies your fears, intensifies your doubts, and stretches your loneliness until it fills your chest like smoke. Sometimes the heaviness you feel is not sadness, it is a spiritual fog created by whispers, and the more you entertain them, the thicker the fog becomes. Suddenly, waking up becomes harder, speaking becomes exhausting, praying feels distant, your heart feels numb, and your soul starts to shut down. Shaitan loves this state because a heart that feels numb becomes easier to push away from Allah, and a soul that feels heavy becomes easier to distract with the world. My beloved brothers and sisters, Shaitan does not need to make you commit sins to defeat you. He just needs you to feel hopeless. Once hopelessness enters the heart, everything becomes heavier. Hope disappears, dua becomes harder, sujud feels distant, and the chest feels tight as if the world is collapsing from above. And the entire strategy of Shaitan is built on one goal: to make you forget that Allah is near you, protecting you, loving you, guiding you, and waiting for you to return. When Shaitan sees a heavy heart, he whispers thoughts that make the heaviness worse. You're failing, nothing will change. You don't deserve peace. You are broken beyond repair. Allah is not listening to you. He makes the darkness in your chest feel like the truth when it is only an illusion. He makes disappointment feel permanent when Allah may be preparing a beautiful opening. He makes sadness feel endless when Allah may be seconds away from sending relief. He makes guilt feel unforgivable when Allah's mercy is bigger than every mistake you've ever made. Shaitan attacks the heavy heart because he fears what the heart will become once it returns to Allah. He fears the strength you will gain after your hardship. He fears the light that will fill your chest once the darkness leaves. He fears the dua you will make when you finally break in sujud. He fears your tears because tears wash away his whispers. He fears your repentance because repentance destroys his plans. He fears your closeness to Allah because closeness to Allah suffocates Shaitan more than any punishment. My beloved brothers and sisters, the heaviness you feel is not a sign that Shaitan has won. It is a sign that he has noticed your potential. He sees your future strength, your future iman, your future resilience, your future connection with Allah, and he tries his hardest to break you before you reach it. He tries to crush you before Allah elevates you. He tries to exhaust you before Allah strengthens you. He tries to fill your chest with darkness before Allah fills it with light. But here is a truth that Shaitan hates more than anything. Allah is always closer to the heavy-hearted. A tight chest is a heart preparing to return. A tired soul is a soul Allah is pulling back to Him. A heavy heart is a heart Allah wants to purify. A painful moment is often a doorway to a beautiful transformation. Shaitan wants you to drown in this heaviness. Allah wants you to rise from it. And the moment you whisper, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, the fog begins to lift, the whispers begin to weaken, the pressure begins to loosen, and the heart begins to breathe again, because the darkness that Shaitan created in your chest cannot survive even a single moment of Allah's light. When the angels step back and your home loses its light, my beloved brothers and sisters, there is a heaviness that settles on the chest, not because of sin, not because of pain, not because of people, and not even because of Shaitan's whispers alone. It comes from something far more serious, far more silent, and far more frightening. The moment when the angels of mercy step back from your home, leaving a spiritual emptiness that your heart feels long before you ever see it with your eyes. The atmosphere of the home begins to change. The walls feel heavy, the rooms feel hollow, and the silence feels strange. Everything looks the same physically, but something is missing spiritually: the light. Angels bring tranquility, clarity, warmth, softness, and invisible protection. Their presence fills a home with comfort that cannot be described. You may not see them, but your soul feels them. You may not hear their wings, but your heart breathes when they are near. And when they leave, the heart feels the difference immediately. The air becomes heavy, the nights become longer, the day feels empty, and the chest begins to tighten without explanation. It is not sadness, it is not anxiety. It is the absence of something. The heart needs the presence of Allah's mercy in your living space. A home where the angels reside feels peaceful, even if life is hard. The food feels blessed, even if it is simple. The sleep feels restful, even if it is short. The conversations feel clean, even if they are few. The heart feels light, even if the world feels heavy. But when the angels leave, everything in the home shifts subtly. Arguments start over, small things. Silence becomes uncomfortable. Blessings stop lasting. Everything begins to feel rushed, tense, and spiritually suffocating. The chest becomes tight, not because of emotions, but because the soul is trying to breathe in an environment where spiritual oxygen no longer exists. Think deeply, my brothers and sisters. How many times did you enter your home and feel an instant heaviness without understanding why? How many times did you sit in your room and feel like the air around you was thick? How many times did you lie in your bed unable to breathe properly even though nothing was physically wrong? How many times did your heart feel unsettled the moment you walked through your door? These were not random sensations, they were spiritual signals, warnings from Allah that your home is losing its light. The angels do not leave without reason. They step back when the home becomes filled with things that suffocate the soul, constant arguments that break hearts, music that drowns out remembrance, screens that carry darkness into your rooms, conversations that Allah dislikes, gossip shared like entertainment, sins committed behind closed doors, and Quran that sits untouched while every other distraction is used for hours. When a home becomes a place where Allah is forgotten, the angels do not feel comfortable staying. And when the angels step back, something else takes their place: spiritual heaviness. A weight that settles in every corner of the home, a darkness that the eyes cannot see but the heart feels immediately. A tightness that appears in the chest because the heart senses that it is living in a space where Allah's remembrance is rare. The heart was created to thrive in light, and when the light leaves, the heart panics. That panic becomes pressure. That pressure becomes heaviness. That heaviness becomes a sign. In homes where the angels are absent, the nights feel spiritually dangerous. The heart feels exposed. Sleep becomes uneasy. Dreams become strange. The soul feels unsettled without explanation. You begin to feel tired even when you have rested, irritated even when nothing is wrong, distant even when surrounded by people, and emotionally absent even when your life seems normal on the outside. All these are signs that the soul is suffocating in an environment where Allah is not remembered enough. And the most painful part is that you can live in such a home for months or even years without realizing that the problem is not your emotions, it is the spiritual climate of your environment. The heaviness you feel is your soul trying to warn you that the home has become silent in the remembrance of Allah. And a house where Allah is not remembered becomes a house where nothing feels right, even if everything appears perfect from the outside. But here is the mercy of Allah. Even when the angels step back, they are never far. They simply wait. They wait for one sincere moment of repentance, one sincere tear, one sincere dua, one sincere ayah recited, one sincere astaghfirullah, one sincere bismillah, one sincere attempt to bring light back into the home. And the moment you remember Allah, the heaviness in the home begins to soften. The pressure in your chest begins to loosen. The peace begins to creep back into the rooms. The light returns slowly, gently, beautifully, because Allah never abandons a heart that calls out to Him, even if it calls out from a suffocating home. Your chest becomes heavy when angels leave your home, because your soul knows it was not created to live in darkness. It was created to live near mercy, near light, near dhikr, near Quran, near Allah. And when your home loses these things, your heart reacts before your mind understands what is happening. The heaviness is not a curse, it is a warning. The discomfort is not punishment, it is guidance. The tightness is not the end, it is an invitation. An invitation to cleanse your home, cleanse your heart, and reclaim the light that once lived inside your walls. And wallahi, the moment you bring Allah back into your home, even in the smallest way, the angels return with a peace so soft it heals you before you even realize it. when you finally return to Allah and the heaviness leaves the heart. My beloved brothers and sisters, there comes a moment after all the heaviness, after all the pressure, after all the spiritual suffocation, when the heart can no longer tolerate the weight it has been carrying. It reaches a point where pretending is no longer possible, where silence becomes unbearable, where emptiness becomes overwhelming, where the chest becomes too tight to ignore. And in that moment, that exact fragile, sacred moment, the heart begins to do something extraordinary. It seeks its creator again. This return does not happen with grand gestures. It does not happen with perfect words or perfect prayers. It often begins quietly with a whisper, with a tear, with one small moment of honesty where you finally admit to yourself, I cannot carry this alone. And that admission, that surrender, that recognition of your own weakness becomes the turning point that the soul has been waiting for. Because the truth is, the heaviness in your chest was never meant to destroy you. It was meant to guide you back to the one who created your heart in the first place. It was Allah calling you with discomfort, pushing you through heaviness, guiding you through pressure, directing you through sadness, and pulling you through darkness, all so you could return to the only place where your heart can truly breathe near Him. When you finally sit down on the prayer mat after weeks or months of spiritual distance, something shifts inside you. The world grows quiet. The noise of your thoughts slows. The heaviness in your chest softens. Your eyes fill with tears, not because of sadness, but because of recognition. Recognition that you left Allah for too long. Recognition that you tried to survive without Him. Recognition that your heart has been starving while trying to pretend it was strong. And the moment that first tear falls, the angels rush back into your home, filling your space with light you forgot existed. You raise your hands shakily, slowly, uncertainly, and say, Ya Allah. And even if you cannot finish the sentence, Allah already knows everything hidden in your chest. He knows what broke you. He knows what tired you. He knows what disappointed you. He knows what scared you. He knows every emotion that hid behind your smile. And He knows that even when you were far from Him, your heart still belonged to Him. As you whisper your dua, the pressure in your chest loosens little by little. The heaviness begins to lift like fog dissolving in the presence of the sun. You feel something inside you shift, not physically, but spiritually, as if your heart is remembering how to beat without pain. And for the first time in a long time, your soul feels a breath of fresh air, something it has been craving for weeks or months or even years. Relief. This relief does not come from the world. It does not come from distractions. It does not come from people. It comes from the one who promised, verily, in the remembrance of Allah do hearts find rest. Rest. That is what your heart has been begging for. Not happiness, not entertainment, not attention. Rest. And that rest can only be found in sujud, when your forehead touches the ground and your heart rises above everything else. You stay there longer than usual, not because you planned to, but because your soul refuses to get up. In that moment, everything feels right again. The darkness that had been sitting on your chest melts away. The knots inside your heart dissolve. The tears you've been holding back finally fall in a steady stream that cleanses you from the inside. You realize something powerful. The heaviness was not a punishment, it was an invitation, a divine call to return before the world crushed you completely. And now that you've answered that call, everything inside you begins to realign. The home starts to feel lighter. Your breaths become deeper. Your thoughts become clearer. Your heart becomes softer. Your soul becomes calmer. The angels return, filling the corners of your home with tranquility that you had forgotten existed. Life does not suddenly become perfect. Problems don't disappear overnight, but something far more important changes. You begin to feel safe again. You begin to feel guided again. You begin to feel connected again. You begin to feel loved again. And when the heart feels these things, the chest no longer carries the weight of the world. My beloved brothers and sisters, the final truth is this: Allah never allows a heavy heart to remain heavy once it turns back to Him. Pain does not last when placed in His hands. Darkness does not survive in a heart filled with His remembrance. Heaviness does not continue in a chest that bows in sujud. And a soul that returns to Allah never returns empty. It returns healed, strengthened, purified, and illuminated. The pressure you felt was a door. The heaviness was a path. The tightness was a map. And they all led to the same destination, Allah. And wallahi, once you return to Him, the heart finds a peace that no person, no place, no comfort, and no moment in this world can ever replace. My beloved brothers and sisters, if you have been feeling that heaviness, that pressure in your chest, that silent weight no one sees and no one understands, then hear me clearly. You are not broken. You are not weak. You are not lost. You are being guided, because Allah does not tighten the heart of a believer except to pull them closer. He does not make your chest heavy except to lift something from your soul. He does not let you feel pain except to prepare you for a deeper peace. The heaviness was not there to destroy you. It was there to wake you, to cleanse you, to protect you, to remind you that the heart cannot breathe without its creator. And now that you've heard this message, now that you've understood the signs, now that your heart has remembered what it once forgot, it's time to return. Return to your prayer. Return to your Quran. Return to your sujud. Return to the moments where you felt closest to Allah. Return to the place where your heart was alive. Because the heart finds peace only with the one who created it. And I make dua that Allah softens your chest, lightens your burden, fills your home with angels, removes every heaviness you are hiding, and replaces every tear you cried with a happiness that reaches your soul. May Allah fill your days with light, your nights with calm, your heart with certainty, and your life with a peace that never leaves. Ameen, Ya Rabbal Alameen. And remember, whenever your chest feels heavy again, before you look for answers in this world, close your eyes and say softly, "Oh Allah, I am yours. Heal what I cannot explain," because the heart that turns to Allah never returns empty.